there's an article that was written by The Athletic that I got a notification for. I have not read it yet, but it is the 24 most intriguing players for 2024, including, it says, Marvin Harrison and many quarterbacks. So a little spoiler alert, I guess there is Marvin Harrison. I'll put our camera there. Go to the Flurry Sports YouTube channel if you are just listening right now. We got the article up if you would like to read along with us. I just saw the number one there, I guess. But I guess before we jump in and critique their lists, you did. Did you see it or you did not?
I did not.
So intriguing means a lot of things.
Yeah.
Who's your most intriguing player, Jake? Who are you most intrigued about for football this year, I guess?
To me, intriguing means, so it's like, does it mean like, I'm not going to pick Patrick Mahomes. He's very good, but
not
it's
intrigued.
Like, he wouldn't be my coffee table conversation.
What's the debate about Patrick Mahomes, right?
Yeah. His wife. That's like it. So mine would be Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean, injured 4 plays into last season in a brand new home, supposed to be a Super Bowl favorite. Definitely intriguing.
Well, and coinciding with the worst, like in terms of like how people feel about him, this is the lowest he's ever been in terms of like people actively are like just out on him. Like, I don't think it's controversial. I think people are like, nah, I'm out on Aaron Rodgers. So, but Claire was like, because of that, like I use Claire as like my barometer for, she's a sports fan, but she doesn't like specifically follow. She just watches like the ESPN, like Sports Center stuff. So she's like, I mean, Aaron Rodgers is pretty overrated. And like that idea of like literally 4 snaps and then the year before, like Pro Bowl caliber. So it's just tough, but it's like so intriguing. Like I feel like this is a legacy defining year for Rodgers. Because I think if he comes back, he's in the Tom Brady conversation if he has another stellar year.
It is. It's unfair, but it kind of is a legacy defining year. If he plays bad, truthfully, I think there should be no demerit on his legacy. There will be, but I don't think there should be. If he plays great, you have to put him in the Peyton Manning, Tom Brady conversation because they did it. You have to. But he's also intriguing because, to your point, this is the lowest perception of him has been, most out people have been. And every time people have doubted him, he uses that as motivation, whether you think it's cheesy, real or not. He always bounces back and says, fuck you, and wins an MVP and stuff like that. So if he actually does that again, we cannot doubt his football prowess ever again. Truthfully.
Yeah. And it's like, I think he would climb the charts of, it's so funny in football. In football, it's like, is Brady your GOAT? Or it's like a rotating cycle. Because it's like, if it's not Brady, and I think he'd climb to the list of guy who's not Brady, you would say is best if you just weren't like a ring merchant.
Sure. I'm not sure if this list will do it, but to me, players who could be very terrible, very bad are intriguing. So I think Daniel Jones is intriguing.
Yeah. I had Saquon on the mind.
Saquon's intriguing, I would say.
New home, new circumstances. Just like when I watch the Eagles, like I feel like I'm going to be kind of tuned into him.
Yeah, for sure. Other players, I think Tua is intriguing.
Very.
Hate him, but he definitely is. We're going to be watching him.
Another guy we are not necessarily like, I'm somewhat a fan of him. I know you don't like this guy. Stephon Diggs is very intriguing.
Stephon Diggs is his former quarterback. I think Josh Allen is. I saw today, someone said he very possibly could be a top 10 quarterback all time right now. And I said, really? That's all I said. I'm like, he's top 10? I'm not, how? Okay, that's fine. But
he'd be borderline for top 10 guys who played quarterback at Wyoming. That's crazy. That's
it is crazy, but he's intriguing. Now you take away his 2 top receivers from last year, and it's like, okay, if he's the MVP, let's see if he can do it again now.
I guess that is an interesting. I'd like to explore that sometime. With like, I'd love that person's thought, just because I guess if you went the realm, and this is a side topic, but in my head, the way I'd make that argument is like, well, I'm only going to fill my top 10 with modern quarterbacks. And
That's not the wrong way to think about it.
no, that'd be an interesting way to go, because my brain at first was like, well, he hasn't even been the top quarterback any year he's ever played, but that would probably be the argument, is the era he's in his best. So all that to say, on the defensive side of the ball, because, I want to give some other folks some love. I think I'm going to go with TJ Watt. I think this is another, like, because we've talked a lot about the Steelers, and I think the reason I say him for intriguing is household name, and also like MVP contender if he carries that team.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair.
I guess otherwise you'd go Micah
on his team. Probably.
No, just intriguing. Micah Parsons.
Parsons. I was thinking Fitzpatrick. I'm not intrigued by Micah Parsons. I understand a lot of people are. I just think he's a very good football player. I'm not sure if there's a discussion to be had.
Yeah.
He's whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a Packer fan, I guess, or somewhat, So Rashawn Gary intrigues me. He's going to be asked to play a little bit of a different position as well. He intrigues me.
That's such a fucking filthy Packer fan pick. I love it, but everyone's Googling Rashawn Gary. I love that, though. That's true. I think he's a great pick. I mean, the other Packer one is Jordan Love just, became the highest paid quarterback.
Yeah, he's intriguing for sure. Like, will he live up to it or not? Deshaun Watson's also kind of intriguing for a few reasons.
I don't think we've said my number one yet, and I'm curious.
Okay.
It's a quarterback. For me, Kirk Cousins in the Atlanta situation.
Yeah, that's fair.
Is kind of must watch. And I didn't say any of the quarterbacks on Pittsburgh because I don't know if I'd pick one of them to be intriguing. The situation is. But Kirk himself, it's like, man, what are you going to do? Like, are you going to be any good?
That's fair. Dak is a little intriguing in terms of seemingly Jerry Jones is fully out. And there's a lot of drama that's kind of just not being talked about. It's just being blatantly ignored there. I'll just say this, and then we can start at the bottom of the list and work our way up to number one. I think Deron Bland, cornerback for the Cowboys he's cornerback for the Cowboys last year, set the all-time record for most pick sixes in a season. Like, if he can somehow even rival last year, that's insane. And no one's even really caring about that record anymore. In the moment, everyone's like, oh my God. But now it's like, if he somehow puts together another insane season like that, you kind of have to talk about him as one of the best ever.
Yeah. The only other name I would throw out there, and I think most years this gets like an eye roll, but I think it's true this year, is
Mar Hamlin.
Maybe, yeah. I would put Travis Kelce on this list for sure. Not just for the off the field piece, but there's like talks of how much longer is he going to do it, and health and different things. So I think he's very intriguing this year.
I think so too. And I took that off the screen just so I can scroll down to the very bottom without you seeing any of them.
That's
I'm in the comments right now. There's a lot of comments. I'm not sure why it's showing me all of them. Okay.
All of them.
Oh, and look at that. Okay, so they did 24 for 2024, presumably. Yeah. Whatever. Number 24, TJ Watt. And immediately, they wasted no time by letting us know that he is JJ Watt's little brother. He will always be that first and foremost. Can Watt stay healthy for a full season, provide the difference making? That's not why he's interesting, but sure. Right?
No, not at all. I think the debate would be if the Steelers are good, then he is a very intriguing player.
Yeah. Yeah. And if he has another MVP like season, he should be considered one of the best defensive players of all time.
Well, in a post, for now, post Aaron Donald NFL,
Yeah.
I think he's kind of the guy on defense. He's where my brain went right away. So I think he's going to get that kind of attention.
23, L'Jarius Sneed.
Jeez.
Not interesting, but that's fine. Sneed has admitted he's a little bit bitter that the Chiefs' decision to trade him. He enters the season with loads of motivation as he proves that they got it wrong. We call the Tennessee Titans one of the least interesting teams of this year, and I still kind of believe that. And I'm not interested in L'Jarius Sneed, to be fully honest.
Not even the Sneed that came to mind.
True. That is true. Yeah. Wrong. Next, Russell Wilson. We already talked about this. He's not interesting. The situation is.
Yeah. I would you say he's the more interesting of the two? Like if you were going to pick, like I'd be shocked if Justin Fields is on this list.
I agree. And I think Justin Fields may be more interesting than Wilson.
Yeah, because I guess it's his future on the line. Russell Wilson, here's the thing. I guess if you consider the possibility that Wilson comes out and just torches folks, yeah, but I have written that off. Like he's not going to be good in my brain. So, but it'd be very intriguing if he was good. But otherwise,
right, but like,
no.
A 35-year-old quarterback, what is okay? Is that intriguing? Because that's the most likely outcome.
Yeah,
he's fine. Weird. Okay. 21, Keon Coleman. Nope.
I mean, even in the article, it's basically, Diggs slash
Josh Allen. Yeah, right. Allen needs big plays from the rookie in the worst way. Okay, I agree. Or big plays from somebody else. It has nothing to do with Keon Coleman. He just needs people to catch the football.
Yeah. This is an interesting way to write this article. We talked, I think, off air of like, what the hell does intriguing mean? I feel like they're writing like, it's almost like make or break. Will they be good or will they be bad? Which is interesting. I don't know if that's the way I would have interpreted it, but they're definitely going like, Keon Coleman? Like, okay.
Right.
There's 20, Micah.
Yeah, Micah Parsons will work to ensure Cowboys don't miss a beat without Dan Quinn, help Dallas get over the postseason hump and to make a Super Bowl. I don't think that falls on Parsons at all. Parsons needs to get paid. I guess it says right here, only a matter of time before Jerry Jones finally opens up his checkbook. Yeah. But in terms of Dallas getting over the hump, if Dallas fails this year, is anybody pointing the finger at Micah Parsons?
No. I guess my question to you would be, if Micah Parsons is like Micah Parsons' reputation as one of the best defensive players in the league on the line in either direction this year, like, does he need to prove that, or like, is he at risk of not being seen that way?
I think he will for sure continue to be seen that way no matter what. I mean, the only thing he needs to have his best year in terms of his contract, in terms of his financial situation.
Yeah.
But if he has a down year, I don't think anyone's freaking out about it. I even think it won't really even affect his money. I think that's safe.
No. And again, I would almost point to, the Cowboys and Jones are intriguing. Like that poll that came out this week where it's like the league anonymously was like, what the fuck is Jerry Jones doing in the GM office? But I don't know. I guess the only spicy thing there is, I guess like maybe you think his success is because of the scheme, which is an interesting take to me. I would not chalk it up to that. So I guess if you were like, is he still good? Then maybe you're intrigued by that. But I don't know. So far, I feel like, we're dipping our toe in. I want to see if this list picks up.
Yeah. So we cracked the top 20. Number 19 is Chris Jones.
Interesting.
And immediately they say Aaron Donald now retires. So the title of the most dominant defensive player in the game is up for grabs. And again, I don't think it is. I think TJ Watt has it, or Myles Garrett.
Jones
like
being
that.
higher. He's more entertaining. Like
kind of
human and personality. But yeah, I mean, only if you listen to him.
Correct. I love Chris Jones.
Yeah.
And I like him more than Parsons, blah, blah, blah. But in terms of notoriety, in terms of who has the microphone, Parsons literally has a podcast that's huge. And Chris Jones is an interior lineman. And we all know how they get treated.
I'd have
Jones,
either Steeler above all of these other guys so far.
I think so too. Jones, all pro last 2 seasons, badly wants to help lead Kansas City to a third straight Super Bowl title. So does everybody else on that team. That's not interesting. It's like
He's
the
the
news
best
headline.
Yeah.
There's a news headline that came out last week, I think. It said Lamar Jackson says he wants to win the Super Bowl. Okay, cool. Put it on the ticker.
It's like at the beginning of this year, everyone was like debating whether or not we should be mad at the Dodgers manager in baseball because he was like, we're World Series or bust. And everyone's like, ooh, should he have said that? And it's like, what is everyone else fucking doing? What are you talking
Yeah.
about? Like, yeah. And they just paid like $250 billion this offseason.
Yes.
So I would say it's World Series or bust.
Yeah, expectations are very well known for the Dodgers, for the Cowboys, for teams like that.
The literal Super Bowl defending Chiefs. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tua, too low.
I agree. Tua now must prove that he can carry his team against the best and also play well in the postseason. Obviously, we've talked about this a million times. Players can't and don't really get judged harshly until they get paid. Tua finally just got his contract, so now people can hate Tua. That's kind of how it is. So that's kind of what this is saying. But you and I are saying, I think, that he deserves to be higher on this list.
And I would 100% in terms of intriguing because they, for a lot of reasons, like a team that put up 70 points on someone last year and really fell apart at the end. Like, so I don't know. I'm still looking at Tua like, are you good? I've got no idea. I don't know if I think so. And honestly, are you going to be healthy the whole time? Do you know where you are?
Right. I mean, that's a big question mark for sure. 17, Jordan Love, again, probably should be higher. I don't know how he's not.
Yeah, because there's so much pressure on quarterbacks in Green Bay, and I feel like it gets talked about in the media sense. So I think he's assumingly should be higher on the list. I also think it's very interesting, not just contract, but like in this division, this year where I feel like every team has now something to watch for. That's intriguing. Like he's going to be the storyline of Green Bay.
For sure. Like they said, and it's true. He has had a half a season of essentially good games, and he was awarded one of the biggest contracts of all time in the sport. Will it be a fluke or not? That's intriguing. That should be higher than 17. But we got 16 here. Saquon Barkley, another player we mentioned. So I think that's right. Yeah, new home, not just a new home, goes to a rival. That whole process was very public on Hard Knocks. So it's definitely intriguing to see, will he be a bust there? Will he be the one who got away for the Giants? It's interesting.
He's also become the face of should we pay running backs?
True. That is true. Yeah, if he completely flops, it's going to be very tough to negotiate as a running back.
I know. I think I'm like rooting for him almost as much as any player in the league this year because it would do a lot for him and other folks. It also would continue to make fucking the GM of the Giants look like an idiot if they just go out and ball. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Very true. Number 15, Jalen Hurts. Okay. In my opinion, and I'll see if it says here, I don't really see. I think he's intriguing because of his relationship with Sirianni that supposedly completely fell apart last year. Personally.
I mean, same. I think the Eagles are intriguing because it's like, are you good? Like you are so stacked. They're such a stacked team. I do think almost to the Jordan Love point. I don't know if you would agree with this. I think there's some question to like how good is Jalen Hurts?
I think it's fair. As a quarterback, I don't think he throws the ball very well.
Yeah. And then like last year, especially end of the year, like to totally fall off the wagon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he's very I'm kind of stunned by how little I've given thought to like the Philly situation. Like I've just assumed they're going to be good. And now I'm like, oh man, that is true. Like, I don't know what Jalen's going to do this year.
I debated it with Luke a little bit. We went through and gave our win total bets for every single team higher or lower than the projected win total. I picked Philly to win the division. He picked the Cowboys. So there are people who truly do doubt the Eagles this year.
Yeah.
I'm not
it's a
one
bad
of them.
division in my opinion. So I think that helps the Eagles.
I agree. 14, Bryce Young. And this is an intriguing situation because everyone labeled him as the biggest bust of all time. And that's not fair.
No, he's just not CJ Stroud. Intriguing is the right word. I think a good spot on the list. Yeah, I've got I think everything went according to plan.
For who?
I mean, that's true. For everybody. I don't know. Do you feel like internally, this is a silly question, probably. Maybe, oh man, my Pete's coming through. I was about to say, and I'll stand by it. I feel like internally, truthfully, the Panthers are like, we're okay. We don't know.
I don't think so.
It's too soon to say. It's too soon to say. Stroud overperformed. He's going to come back to the mean. Young's going to catch him.
Tepper never stopped staring at Frank Reich because Frank Reich wanted Bryce Young. Yeah. And Tepper, every touchdown that CJ Stroud threw, Tepper called Frank Reich about it. They are not happy. There's no way. I can't begin to even believe that they support Bryce Young in that building.
I don't know if I believe it either. Maybe this is what I'm thinking. And I'm thinking of it from Bryce Young's perspective. Like if you were his agent, and because to your point, I'm going to take the point you made right away, which is like labeled as like, again, one of the just as monumental bust. If those picks were flipped, do you feel like people are looking at Bryce Young like if he was the 2? Be like, oh, let's see. Or are they looking at him and going, thank God Anthony Richardson got hurt? Or or it'd be like
there's multiple things working against Bryce Young. One, he's always going to be compared to CJ Stroud. But then 2, it's the fact that the Panthers traded for him. So now it's like the Bears got Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, and many other players for
Roma Dunze. I know.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, they lost the trade. They lost the pick. They lost everything.
Not my book yet, Zach. It's too early. I'm not bringing these chickens home to roost. I agree with you. Honestly, now I'm waiting to see if Anthony Richardson. Oh, boom! There it is. I summoned it.
Expectations are high, and that's true. He's completed 1 NFL game. 1. But he looked so good last year.
And isn't that funny? I feel like I just thought of that. I'm like, well, part of it is because I think most people would go, if they could do the draft over, they would take Bryce Young after Richardson. And I don't know if that's fair at all.
It shouldn't be fair, but I think almost unanimously people would say that. Yeah.
I know. By the way, I can't stress this enough. The Panthers are fucking awful. So I don't, evaluating a quarterback's tough there too. But to Richardson, I think there's a chance that like that's a playoff team if he's good. I think he's very intriguing.
Very, very intriguing. How many wins would you project the Panthers for?
The Panthers?
Yep.
I think I drafted them, did I? For our worst team pick. One of us did.
Probably.
I'd be shocked. Like they're just thrilled at a 7-win season.
That's way too high.
It's way too high. Honestly, I'm doing the math on how long the season wins. I think they've got 4 wins in them.
Okay. Their line was set at 4.5 with the odds saying that they should win 5. And I said
the under.
Yeah, I hammered the under. I'm like, you're giving me extra money to take the under on 4.5 wins. They might win 3. Maybe.
The only reason I wouldn't is I don't know if I'd ever take the under on wins in the NFC South. Just because who knows? But
for survivor pools, I'm picking the Saints week 1 because they play the Panthers.
That's
Pick
so
against
true.
the Panthers every time you can.
I mean, they're awful. That also goes into like the mindscape of like, I wonder if this Bears experiment works. I wonder if folks will do more of that of like, let's set up one draft to like get good rather than what are they learning from this Bryce Young experiment? Like, can you even evaluate him?
No, it's a brand new head coach, brand new offensive scheme and everything this year as well. Like you can't evaluate Bryce Young in this offense until next year, but I don't trust that this coaching staff will be there next year because Tepper keeps firing everybody.
I know, man. Okay. I like that. Yeah. And Anthony Richardson, same boat. Like, I feel like he's going to get past this year no matter what. But I do think it's interesting to see, like, well, here's the most intriguing and sad. Will he be healthy?
Right. He won't get a pass. If he gets hurt again within the first half of the season, everyone's going to be like, he'll never stay healthy.
He won't get a pass on injuries at all. I thought of that halfway through. But if he, like, plays and he's, like, meh,
Right.
I think people will be like, well, it's his first full year.
Right. Yeah. It's his rookie season, essentially, for
Yeah.
sure. Gardner Minshew, kind of intriguing. I wouldn't put
mean-
him this high.
I don't think a guy could be that high when if I asked folks, like, name the team Gardner Minshew's on right now. Like, they'd be like, oh. I would say the situation, again, is very intriguing. We talked about that. I think the Raiders are must watch. They've got quote unquote quarterback controversy. But is there any, I would almost go back to what we said earlier of like, I don't know what the ceiling is for Gardner Minshew here.
I don't think that matters. It just feels weird where it's like, remember in 18, 19, where he took the Jaguars by storm? It's like, this is insane. And of course he faded away, right? Of course he became a backup. But imagine he was given the reins to another team. And that team has Devontae Adams, the league's best wide receiver at the time, and arguably still best wide receiver. Can you believe that? Like, no, I can't. That's weird.
Yeah. Devontae's got to be on here, right?
Should be. He should be.
So I don't know the Devontae effect. Yeah, I mean, if Devontae and Minshew are yelling at each other, or like going really well, then yeah, he's intriguing.
Yeah. We got Marvin Harrison Jr. There's not, to be honest. I think he's so vanilla, so boring. If he's great, of course he is. If he's bad, it's because he has no ribs. Like, I don't like, he's a nothing burger to me. He's whatever.
When the Cardinals aren't interesting, I am intrigued because it's a hype check, right? Like, I guess if he comes in and it's just like, Jesus, he's one of the best wide receivers in the league, that is intriguing. But that's the only intriguing scenario to me.
Maybe. It feels like if he's really good, that everyone's going to be like, yeah, we're not surprised. We've said this. We knew that.
Oh, you know what? That is so fair in my brain, though. What makes it intriguing, you will get this, but I don't know if most football fans will be thinking about it this way. I think it's going to be big time, like every team that drafted a quarterback. We know Harrison's going to be good. So one of the teams that drafted the quarterback is going to be like, fuck. And
Sure.
I think that's intriguing. And it's known. And by the way, one of them maybe already, Minnesota. So who knows? But so that I think could be intriguing. Like if he just tears it up, that will be on ESPN 3 days a week of like, here are the teams who could have taken Marvin Harrison Jr.
Obviously, Minnesota got fucked because McCarthy's hurt, right? Like, it's not their fault. It's nobody's fault. Jake's celebrating. He'll take a victory lap, but it is what it is.
I did it.
Essentially, though, for this year, it's just a wasted pick. Could you imagine if it was Justin Jefferson, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Jordan Addison? Like, that's stupid. They could have done it.
All being thrown to by fucking Kirk Cousins. And as much as I hate Vikings fans, it would have been pretty good, huh?
For sure.
That might have helped. So I know that would have been stupid, but no, I know. And the funnier part is like, I don't know what team's gonna sit there. Like, I don't know if the fucking Patriots are gonna be like, we could have had them.
Yeah. No,
Maybe
they won't.
The Chargers.
Giants, maybe. If Neighbors is bad or is just a complete asshole like we already know he is. He's intriguing, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here he is, number 10.
Oh, I disagree. Maybe. But I
think it's too high.
It's too high, and it's so dependent. Another one where it's like, I guess his personality. What do you think on it? Because to me, it's just like, I'm going to find out more about Daniel Jones than I am about Malik Neighbors.
I think Daniel Jones is, again, in an unfair situation. They keep saying, we got to give Daniel Jones the most perfect situation so we know if he is a great quarterback or not. Let's not give him any offensive line help. I know our offensive line's been the issue for the past decade, but hear me out. let's just draft another LSU receiver. Remember Odell? Let's bring Malik Neighbors in here. And Daniel Jones, he's either going to be Eli Manning or we're going to have to go find Eli Manning. That's what they're doing. But it's like, maybe you should have got offensive line help. And if it's between Neighbors or Jones, I mean, Daniel Jones is by far the more intriguing player still.
Yeah, when is he going to be evaluated? Like, when are they going to look at Daniel Jones and like fish or cut bait?
It's this year, supposedly, but he has not been given a fair year. It's like Baker Mayfield his entire career. He switches offensive coordinators, switches teams every fucking year. It's like, oh, he's bad. I don't know if he is. Like, we still don't know.
That's fair. It's like McCown. Honestly, the better example is Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Sure.
Like was he ever bad? Not really.
Fitzpatrick, Tyrod Taylor, people like that.
Yeah. Oh, Tyrod. I think
he's intriguing. He should be on the list.
Yeah, I did a whole rant on him. I think about that sometimes. We did a whole episode on Tyrod Taylor. Look that up. But okay, who's next? Number 9.
Ooh. That's fair. Maybe a little high, but it's fair. He sat out the preseason game, sat out practices because of a sore arm. This guy, like, if he has another season like last season, there will be no person alive that likes Deshaun Watson, which is kind of fun.
I'm all in on him being the, comfortable worst NFL player of all time. Yeah. Like biggest bust, whatever you want to call it. If that's what happens in that situation, I think what a fitting end to the decisions made by the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a real chance that he becomes the poster child for, it's hard to work hard when you wake up in satin sheets. Like, as soon as he gets paid, he stops working hard. Like, there's a chance he becomes that.
That's so true. You're right. I'm not going to root for the guy, but I am a proponent on the thought of guaranteed money. And so, sure. And for better or worse, he is the face of that in the NFL. I mean, definitely for worse, he should be the face of anything.
True. It's him or Kirk. You have to pick which one.
True. It sucks. That's the only thing. Like, we only give out guaranteed money. You did that last one of our summer episodes. It was like, we only give out guaranteed money to people who we're not very confident in. Yeah. No, I know. He is intriguing. Very deserving of that placement. I think he's a top 10 most intriguing player.
That's fair. I mean, yeah, there's certainly discussions for various things. Next one's Justin Jefferson. I don't know if he belongs on this list at all. I don't think he's intriguing. Do you?
I think I lost you for a second. I'm sorry. I was very stoically waiting, and I heard, I don't think he's intriguing at all. And I was like, whoa, Uno reversed me. But you moved on to Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson's number 8. Don't worry, I'm back.
I don't think he's intriguing. I think he's one of the best receivers in the NFL. I think he has Sam Darnold throwing to him. I think nothing comes... If he's really good this year, okay. If he's really bad this year, probably has something to do with the quarterback. I don't think that's interesting or intriguing.
I like him on the list, and here's why. He's way too high. One, I do think there's something a little intriguing to the scenario of he just got paid, so I guess is he worth it? But mainly, like, the idea of, oh my God, he's trapped in Minnesota. Like, now Sam Darnold's throwing him the ball. Like, that was almost the vibe last year, and it's like it got worse because of circumstances, at least for now. And maybe, guys come back healthy, McCarthy back, other guys get healthy, and they're good, and he's there a long time. I also think the thing I will defend, and they didn't mention it here in the article, Claire now, and he's been the one I've heard receive the biggest boost from this. I think that Netflix series that came out in the offseason did wonders for him. I think, like, he's very likable. And so I think in that sense, like, Claire literally the other day was like, I mean, I love Justin Jefferson. So I think that maybe did a boost for him this offseason. But it doesn't mention it there. But I've heard that from a couple different people.
My issue with this, and I've heard more than just this article say this exact point. But my issue is, why is everyone saying and treating Sam Darnold as if he is such a big step down from Nick Mullins, Josh Dobbs, and stuff like that. You're saying like a former
So true.
first round quarterback is so much worse than what they had last year? Because it's not.
No, they're just comparing him to Cousins. And even then, it's
Even
not
still, we all criticized Cousins.
it's not a huge step down. I do think if he goes for less than 1,000 yards, that's probably deserving of some criticism towards him. Or
Probably.
more than likely, health, which I'm a little
Right.
worried about. So I would say,
Sure.
like, if he was lower on the list, I don't know if I'd have a problem with it.
Okay. Number 7's Dak. We talked about him. Obviously, he's working for a new contract. We don't know if the Cowboys are going to bring him back, if they're going to completely start over, because it doesn't seem like Trey Lance is probably the guy. Will they draft like a Shedeur Sanders? Who the hell knows? Will they go Shedeur Sanders and hire Dion as their head coach? That seems like a Cowboys thing.
Yeah.
Like, but again, it is the intriguing thing kind of is Dak Prescott, but it's also kind of the situation again.
He's so boring. I like it is
agree.
intriguing, but he's such a granola person that I'm like, I guess. I also feel like him very publicly, this is like 5th year in a row of is Dak good? And like by Jerry Jones. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know, man. You tell me.
As just a person, everyone's kind of talks about how Russell Wilson feels like he's acting playing a quarterback in like a TV show or in a movie.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott kind of feels like he's playing Russell Wilson in a TV show. And I don't think that's better.
I mean, for sure. He definitely, like, he's the number one guy who's like, I'm a Pro Bowl quarterback. Like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the Dallas Cowboys quarterback, I guess.
Yes,
Now.
100%. I know.
CJ Stroud, obviously one of the best rookie quarterbacks of all time.
Yeah.
This is a Texans team with a ton of hype, thinking that they can make the next step. Doesn't really feel like a borderline top 5 intriguing player to me, though.
No, and makes me like, yes, I'm intrigued. I mean, he's probably the number one person from last year that I'm like, will you be that good again? So
Sure.
I like him on the list, and the Diggs situation is, and between Diggs and like all the hype around their head coach from last year and just that team, yeah, the circumstance is interesting, but it feels high for a guy that, like, I don't think even if he had a not great year, we'd be like, oh, that's it. Like, he was
Right.
so good last year. I just don't see that happening. I don't know. But yeah, it makes me wonder if like him and Diggs are both gonna, like, is Diggs gonna be right away? So that'll be interesting.
I agree. Top 5 here, we got Kirk Cousins for all the reasons we talked about. Very intriguing, very interesting, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with everyone already calling for his replacement. And it's like,
yeah, including his own team.
He once again has been fine. Like, I don't like, what a terrible scenario to be in.
He ran away from Minnesota because of this exact scenario, and Falcons did it to him anyway. Awesome. Awesome stuff.
So funny.
Number 4 is Lamar Jackson.
Mm.
I love Lamar Jackson. He's coming off of an MVP year. People certainly still have questions of him in the playoffs. I don't know if that's true after this past year. I just think he had to play the Chiefs, and it is what it is. Even though I do kind of criticize Josh Allen for the same thing, but Josh Allen usually throws the game away. There's certainly times where he hasn't, and it was just a shootout. But Lamar Jackson hasn't made that many mistakes in big time moments, I don't think. I don't think he's that intriguing. I think Derrick Henry's more intriguing.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, for me, when I think of Lamar Jackson, this is your exact point. He's just good. I'm not like waiting for him to prove anything. I'm past like, will he stay healthy? Like, I think if he gets hurt, he gets hurt, but it's not like, oh, there goes Lamar banged up again. Like,
yeah,
he's had enough healthy years for me. I'm kind of past it. I guess the only thing is, like, does he get a Super Bowl? And that's intriguing. / like, what, I don't know right now if you'd be like, what's the closest he ever got,
Right. Last year, he was an intriguing player because he was hurt. and he just got paid. So will he earn his contract? And then immediately after getting the big contract, he had a healthy season and he won MVP. I think he answered exactly what we had questions about.
I would love, this would be the only thing I say. I would love if he played so good we had to talk about it. And I think the story that I wish got as much attention as he was good as it did when everyone was like, oh, is he worth the money? Is everyone really cared when he was like borderline representing himself.
Mm-hmm.
And then last year, MVP, suddenly everyone shut up about that because the NFL doesn't want people to do that. So I would love if that was a focus because he literally bet on himself, hit the jackpot, and was like so right and did everything. And then that never got talked about again. So I would appreciate if he was that intriguing all the time.
True. If Lamar Jackson has a play this year where he's like running around by himself, juking, and then like he's trying to make a big play and he fumbles the ball, I will stand up and say, Lamar Jackson needs to learn to rely on other people. He can't just represent and do everything himself all the time. And then we'll take that stance. I'll take that stance. But I love Lamar Jackson. Yeah. And I still don't think he should play wide receiver, for the record.
That's a good take by you.
Number 3, Caleb Williams. He's intriguing. He's very polarizing. He's very cheesy. He's got a little Russell Wilson in him. And the Bears have all of this hype. And the Bears and him are now in a situation where they kind of have to be good. And if they're not, they're going to get criticized, which I think is awesome. I love this.
They're destined for mediocre this year.
Of course. He's going to have some issues early in the season, probably. And then when it's cold and windy, guess what? A little harder to pass, especially for a California boy. So it's not going to work. And that's not his fault. It just is what it is. I don't know if he's top 5 intriguing, but I think he is intriguing.
That's so interesting. I was going to say I was somewhat expecting him. I'm not mad he isn't, but I was somewhat expecting him to be number 1 because I'm intrigued either way. Like good, bad. He could do anything and it's intriguing. Like by that definition, because he's number 1 and we're figuring out what we got in him. Also like coming off of Hard Knocks and everyone like reading into so much and me forgetting Keenan Allen's on that team now. Like they've made a lot of moves. Like this should be a pretty high expectation season. Here's my one question to you. Am I missing something? Or is he going to get sacked a million fucking times?
Probably. Their offensive line's a little better than last year, but it's still not good. It's not good though.
I was trying to measure that because I was like, they literally gave up on Justin Fields because they got him killed. And I'm like, why do they think it's going to be different? So I figured they must have made some improvements, but I'm like, he's going to get, we're not going to get to see him, but maybe I'm wrong.
Well, they also, past 2 years, they tried to make Justin Fields a pocket quarterback for the first half of the year.
Yeah.
And then they drafted Caleb Williams. They're like, now we got a quarterback who can make plays on the run. Like, okay, you had that. You just didn't choose to do that for some reason.
Or surround him with the wide receivers you immediately surrounded Caleb Williams with.
Yeah, right. Justin Fields didn't get a fair shake, whether you think he's good or not. Yeah. Caleb Williams, he's in a position now where it's arguably the best situation a high drafted rookie quarterback has fallen into. It's certainly number 1 overall. It's
best position insane. Any Bears quarterback has ever been.
Yeah. I mean, you could argue
1 year of Jay Cutler, Brandon Marshall.
Yeah, fair enough. Number 2, Patrick Mahomes. We already said that's not true.
Not intriguing.
That also means, spoiler alert, because I know number 1, that means Travis Kelce isn't on the list at all.
Oh, he's so much more intriguing than, oh my God, he's not on the list and Chris Jones is.
That's true.
Sick of Travis Kelce. I don't blame him, but in this one, it's wrong. What's interesting?
They didn't even say his name in Patrick Mahomes' paragraph. Get him out of here. Travis Kelce doesn't belong.
Do people care? Okay, this is the only question I'm going to ask you. In this article, the main argument is legacy, and it's essentially saying it names all of these great quarterbacks, and none of them have ever won 3 straight Super Bowls.
Right.
Does anyone give a shit about that?
Not really. I I think the Chiefs do, and I think Chiefs fans do. NFL as a whole, do we think any less of Patrick Mahomes if he doesn't accomplish this?
No. I mean, I guess the only thing is I don't think any less of him at all.
Do you move him up in the all-time rankings if he has the three-peat on his list? Because I still don't.
So desperate to not have it be Brady. None of us want Brady to be the GOAT. Let's just all say it out loud. Suddenly we woke up and he had 7 Super Bowls. And it was like, fuck you. When did that happen? And I would love to be able to point to someone else I've seen too many quarterbacks who with the eye test are a better quarterback than Tom Brady. And so, yeah, that's intriguing. I'd love for him to enter that combo. So, because I don't think there's one person on the planet that's like, who's more talented, Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes. So, yeah, in the combo.
If let's just say the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, so they get the three-peat.
Yeah.
Is there going to be absolutely anybody saying, can the Chiefs four-peat? Because I feel like then everyone's going to shift to be like, fuck the Chiefs. This team sucks. Mahomes, overrated. It's just because he has Travis Kelce and Andy Reid. Like, people are going to turn into massive haters.
Yeah, I think we're kind of there now. A
little bit.
So I think we'll certainly be there after a three-peat. And then once they don't win one, which will eventually happen, we'll get into full-blown whose fault is it and who was overrated this whole time.
Blow it up.
Yeah, and why was it Andy Reid? Fuckers.
Andy Reid's not locked in.
No.
He's it's going to be you know what? Andy Reid doesn't even love football anymore, I don't think.
You never really loved it after Philadelphia.
No. The McNabb will come out and have stories, be like, he did the same shit when I was there. Like, I can't wait. Clip it. We'll play this clip.
That's right. Washington's finest, Donovan McNabb.
True. People forget. Okay. And then number 1, the almost vice president nominee himself, Aaron Rodgers.
That's the right pick.
That is the right pick. For better or worse, for people who don't want to hear about him, whatever. Aaron Rodgers, very intriguing. We'll see if he can fucking put this together.
Oh, athletic. Wait, can you scroll down? How far down do we got to go to find a non-QB?
Oh, don't do this to me. Justin Jefferson. And then after that, Malik Neighbors.
They were doing so good. I kept thinking that. I'm like, they're really spreading this out. That's not that. They fell into that at the end. That's how come some of those felt weird. Yeah, they just named
quarterbacks. Yeah.
Name an NFL player.
Boo.
Yeah.
Why isn't anyone intrigued about offensive linemen?